In amongst the trinkets and a little money are various notes the counterfeit colonel made on his research. It becomes all too easy to picture the man at work. Well, 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 and the little mole wraps it up. Stone the crows. I always knew the miller was really a snobbish, but I never knew he had a kid. A snobbish kid, too. Last of the line. That's one in the eye for Lady Snobbish. Throw me out, would she? Stuck-up cow. Hope her wrist goes septic. Wonder if he knows he's a snobbish. I bet he does. I wondered if he was anything to do with all them other murders. Bet he was. Tied up loose ends, I think. Keeping it all quiet. Oh, now, there's nasty. Better be careful there. Mind you, there's money here. Maybe blackmail to both of them. Oh, yeah. Ho, Bert. And a Merry Christmas to one and all. It seems the fake colonel may have uncovered quite a conspiracy. Was it worth killing to protect? The death of the colonel has added another notch to the tally that is the Little Riddle death count. And the day's investigation has taught you much. I wonder, have you properly learned the lessons of the day?
What was the Colonel's real name? Bert the Black. At what time did the clock at the police station stopped? It was 10:05, I think. What was above the Colonel's safe? Parts of a disguise. Which of these people was not staring at the Colonel's dead body? The town hall clerk.
Fantastic work! Your keen eye and attention to detail will serve you well. A new day dawns and your investigation gathers pace. The Doctor, Lady Snobbish, and Mrs. Gossip are all on your to-visit list. As too should be the Vicar, who might be able to help you track down Moses.
Yeah, let's go and see the Vicar. He seems a bit of a dodgy geezer.
You had hoped to find the Vicar here, but there's no one to be found. Seeing that someone has been bravely attempting to clean up after yesterday's unpleasantness, you settle down to wait. Your meditative contemplation is interrupted by a surreptitious sound. Yes, that's the one. It seemed to come from behind the altar. Before you can reach it, however... No! The Vicar brown-trousers you! The clergyman with the clarion call of command draws you off to one side, rather abruptly. So glad you're here. Blessed be. I needed your help with, the collection. Yes, with the collection. Not at all convinced, you play along with the crazed clergyman. Despite all the death and murder in Little Riddle, the Vicar seems only preoccupied by his parishioners' money. Can you help him count his loot?
Six gentlemen gave £6 in 6 weeks, and 4 ladies gave £4 in 4 weeks. How many pounds will 12 gentlemen give and 12 ladies give in 12 weeks? Ooh, that's a toughie. I reckon it's about 60 quid though.
What will the ducks reveal? Spot on! All wrapped up already? Great heavens! With nary a hiccup. Well done. You deserve so much more, but this will have to do.
Thank you so much for your help. Now, if you'll excuse me.
The vicar motions toward the door, but you nip around him to the altar. Behind it, half in and half out of what you presume to be an old priest hole, is Moses. The vicar quickly puts himself between you and the cowering groundskeeper. You point out that the vicar's harmless handyman robbed Snobbish Manor. Who knows what else he's capable of?
Don't you see? He has been drawn from the path by some terrible influence. He claims it is his son, but I fear a darker force. I should have locked away the books. He wasn't ready for the truths he saw.
Your mind is a whirl with a great many questions as you leave Moses in the charge of the vicar and continue your investigations. Interviews with Lady Snobbish have been prickly affairs. Revelations about the Colonel win you no additional favor when you ask if he had mentioned anything about what he had found.
I'm sure I have no idea what that charlatan might have believed he'd discovered. I did not find his company tolerable. Now we know why, of course. Breeding will out. I'm sure no one will mourn his passing. Quite frankly, good riddance. Dreadful oik. Now, you may assist me a second time, as you did before with my bees. I strained my wrist the other day and find myself somewhat indisposed. Look here.
A real buzz.
The bees in the ladies' garden are once again causing trouble. Can you help her find out where they are located?
Now,
The number on the flowers indicates how many bees are in the 8 surrounding squares. The bees always occupy the empty square with no flowers in them. Here, buzzy buzzy bees. Looks about good, I think.
And your result is... spot on!
Correct!
You're finished. That was quick. No mistakes made too. You great big swat. Well done. Please take this moment to look as smug as possible.
so simple. Now, if that will be all,
You once again produce the picture of past Snobbish Manor residents. Can she shed any light on the identities of the individuals in the newspaper clipping the agency sent you a while ago?
that is my late husband's grandfather. I married into the family, you see, which is why there's no family resemblance. Now, I simply must escape.
You push one last question. The Colonel had mentioned another one. Were there any other Snobbish family members?
Such impertinence! No, there are not. My husband... Leave. Now, please be so kind as to not return. I do not wish to have to engage the services of that unpleasant inspector to insist on my behalf.
Well, that appears to be an end to that, though not to your investigation.
Looks like we touched on a nerve with her hair. Let's go see Mrs. Gossip.
It is with a degree of trepidation that you once again enter the doily-covered world of Mrs. Gossip. You ask about the previous day
only to have your worst fears confirmed.
I was just saying just saying that I don't remember much about yesterday. My memory isn't what it was. Something about the Colonel. That's the one who... Would you like a biscuit, dearie? They're on the freshwater cods.
Mrs. Gossip appears more senile every day, and has even started referring to her furniture by strange names. Can you make any sense of what she means?
Match the anagrams with the furniture.
How did you do? On the button. Great Scott, that was fast. Oh, and aren't you the smug one? No mistakes. My, aren't you terribly talented? Well, you're about to make your excuses when you remember the photograph you discovered at the windmill some time ago. You show it to her again, hoping beyond hope that she might remember something.
Oh, now, wherever did you find that, dearie? My, that's Mrs. Wentworth. Lovely woman. Very sad. Oh, and that's little Charlie, their son. Well, her son. Bless, such a serious little boy. Not like him up the road by the tailor, not the one by the allotments. Although he was a handful at times. She was married to Moses. That's the one at the church. Oh, that didn't go well. She had a bit of a roving eye, you know. Roved onto the miller for quite a while. Oh, now there I am. That reminds me.
The information is excellent, but the price is another hour at Mrs. Gossip's. There is something bubbling away at the back of your mind now. However, it will have to simmer a while yet. Your investigation must continue.
To go and see the doc again.
The doctor had said he wanted to conduct another little test today. Frankly, you're not sure what he's on about, but the morning's work is leaving you with something of a headache. Perhaps the doctor can help. I've been analyzing your first test, but I need a comparison. Please indulge me.
If I must.
The doctor has another test with which to assess the state of your mental faculties. Can you work out the puzzle he has set for you?
Right. Dr. Red, Dr. Green and Dr. Blue were lunching together. Did you notice that we are wearing red, green and blue coats, said the lady. That's true, said the doctor with the green coat, whilst twiddling his brown moustache. Dr. Red said, but none of our coats match our name. If the lady's coat is not blue, what's the colour of the doctor's coat? Silly puzzle. Make sure that nothing matches. I think we're good at that.
How did you do? Right on the money.
What, finished already? And without a single error being made. Olympian intelligence deserves an Olympian reward.
Gracious. Well, I'd never imagined I'd get such clear results from the second test. You do understand that for someone of your profession, of your supposed caliber, that really was distinctly below par.
Screw you.
It's understandable, really, the pressure you're under at the moment. Exhaustion is inevitable. Here, I would like to help. Take these pills. Take 2 before bed. In the morning, you should wake up feeling entirely rested. Any problems, come back and see me tomorrow. Not in the morning, though. I have an appointment with Lady Snobbish. Good day now.
It seems at least one person in Little Riddle understands the mental strain your calling can impose. You offer your thanks and depart. With all the suspects interviewed, have you learned what you need? Before you retire to your room, I want to see if you've been paying attention. Let's see if you can answer these questions.
What was the name of the woman in the photo? That was Mrs. Wentworth. Why does Lady Snobbish find herself indisposed? She sprained her wrist. Doing what? God only knows. Where did Mrs. Gossip say the biscuits were? On the freshwater cods? What was the name of the kid in the picture? That would have been Charlie.
That clean sweep of questions puts you most resoundingly in my good book. Weary of both my questions and the case as a whole, you decide to return to the hotel and get some rest.
That sounds like a damn fine idea.
It has been an exhausting day. You return to your hotel room, and after a light meal, you retire early to bed. Though you are weary beyond words, your mind will not let you rest. Haunting images of the unavenged dead and snatches of conversations whirl and eddy in the confused currents of your consciousness.
The miller was really a snobbish.
Oh, and that's little Charlie.
That snobbish kid, too. Last of the line.
You remember the pills the doctor gave you. Taking them, you lie down once again. This time, sleep takes you. It is not a peaceful rest, however. Your detective instincts believe that your subconscious is trying to tell you something. Can you make sense of the nonsense?
Place the head so that none of the horizontal and vertical rows and neither of the 2 main diagonals contain 2 heads of the same villager or colour. Huh?
What?
Got him up the top anyway. up there as well.
What?
Check that. I think that looks good.
Are you marvelous or moronic? Huzzah!
Awesome stuff.
My, weren't you in a hurry? Ooh, ooh! No mistakes made. Show off. Look around you and be comforted. You are better than they. You wake suddenly, the gift of revelation slipping from your grasp as a fog descends. You feel detached, removed, distant from reality. Sheer effort of will pushes past your morning malaise, and you remember the dream.
Wonder how much this would be worth to her to keep me quiet.
Their son. Well, her son.
I wonders if he was anything to do with all them other murders.
Would you like a biscuit, dearie?
Adrenaline surges, your intellect awakens, the last piece drops into place, revealing the truth where once there was only a fractured image. To the police station! Bursting into the police station, a little disheveled after your disturbed night, you are nonetheless determined to pass on the benefit of your nocturnal deductions. Go on then, convince me. Again. Of the four suspects, Mrs. Gossip was clearly the least likely. Could someone so frail move the block that killed the Colonel? Or is Mrs. Gossip's mental frailty just an act? The old dear mentioned the doctor when caught at the scene of the crime. Was he even there? If he was, what motive had he for the murder? Is it likely he was on Bert the Blag's blackmail list? Lady Snobbish certainly had motive. After all, Bert the Blag was after her money, perhaps even blackmailing her. Can she be linked to the crime scene and to the method of dispatch? Moses was freed from his cell thanks to the vicar and a crumbling town jail. Was this in time to murder the Colonel? 4 suspects and a wealth of evidence that points to but one of them. Can you deduce the culprit and prove yourself worthy of your role as a blue-toed detective? Player 1, you get to choose first. Select your villain by pressing the corresponding button on the controller.
The doctor's guilty this time.
In the end, the final piece of this puzzle came in a dream. Together with all the other evidence, it confirms the guilt of the Doctor. The murder took place at 10 o'clock. Moses did not escape until 5 minutes past the fatal hour. Mrs. Gossip and Lady Snobbish can be dismissed by the frailty of both. Mrs. Gossip through simple age, and Lady Snobbish because of her injured wrist. Neither could have moved the block of stone. Only the Doctor had no strong alibi.
I'm sorry, but just having no alibi ain't good enough. What was his motive?
You tell the inspector everything you have found out about the Doctor's true ancestry,
and the fact that the Colonel had uncovered the same information.
Hold on. Let me get this right. You're saying that he's a snobbish and he killed Bert the Blag because Bert found out and tried to blackmail him?
You tell him yes, that is the case, and that Bert the Blag had also worked out that the Doctor was tied in with the other murders and wrongdoings in Little Riddle. The Inspector seems less than sure, however.
This is all a bit slight, I have to say. However, you've been right in the past. Let's bring the Doctor in and ask him a few questions. See how he reacts. The constable should be here in a minute.
Well,
What's up with you?
you have indeed gone a whiter shade of pale as you abruptly recall the Doctor's last words to you yesterday.
Not in the morning, though. I have an appointment with Lady Snobbish.
He clearly intends to claim his snobbish legacy by any means possible. Convincing the Inspector of the Lady's peril, you rush to the manor. There isn't a moment to lose. You used your talents to select the correct suspect. Many congratulations on a job well done. You burst into the manor.
Your ladyship!
Great heavens! Inspector, explain yourself. This instant.
Sorry, Mum. We heard you scream.
I appear to have cold equipment this morning. My stethoscope, you see. Just what do you think you're doing, Inspector?
Nothing, Mum. Sorry, Mum. I'll just be going. It won't happen again. I can assure you of that.
Inspector, I got your message. What?
Constable, I believe we have a spare cell at the moment. It will be occupied for the rest of today by this. I'm not in the habit of being made a fool of. You'll get out of my sight, sharpish.
Well, that didn't go entirely according to plan, did it? Even as you languish in a police cell, the perpetrator of the foul deeds that have rocked Little Riddle to its very foundations walks abroad. What mischief, what mayhem, what fiendish felonies can he commit before you are freed? Will justice be done and the Blue Toad Agency file on Little Riddle closed? Or will evil prevail while you rot in prison? Find out when you return in The Riddles of the Past. So, how well did you do in that episode? Player 1. Fantastic.
Right, hopefully we'll get out of that prison cell and be able to carry on with episode 5, which is The Riddles of the Past. So, that should follow this episode up fairly quickly. So I'll catch you next time. See you now.